The question that we've been getting is, how did we meet? And why so soon? Like, I
Thanks.
know it's kind of like out of nowhere. But should I start or did you want to
We
start?
we can both start. I guess. Well, ladies first.
Okay, we'll chime in wherever you would like to because we kind of went through this journey together. But I'll just start by saying that in 2018, I was separated from my first marriage. I was married before, married for about 3 years, and it was a really, really tough ending because I wasn't expecting to go through divorce. It wasn't of my choice or option, but more so what had to be done just because of the level of verbal abuse and things that was happening within my household. And when I moved forward, I didn't think to myself, oh my goodness, come 4 years later, you're going to be married and everything else. It was pretty much very heartbreaking in that process. I was seeking out God diligently, consistently, so much so I found a ministry through my job, my boss, Melvin Walker. She began to mentor me, and in her mentorship, of course, I had to take notice that she was a spiritual leader. So I took notice. I actually came to a church, ended up going through the process of growing as a minister. And so as I started to grow, BTW came on the scene. My life changed. I was bold. Y'all probably already know. You probably see me over the internet. So once Holy Spirit got a hold of me, it was a wrap. I just took a left turn, kept running. And in the midst of doing BTW, I showed up at his event to minister to the people. Because, of course, that's what we do with BTW. But not paying him any mind.
Can I chime in real quick, baby?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna go back a teeny bit before that because she's saying where we met, which is cool.
Go ahead.
I was married in 2019, the first time, and my marriage also we became separated the same year, and 2020 is when the divorce was final.
Same time mine was final.
You know, we didn't even know each other at this point. But so while, like she said, she was going through her marriage, I was going through mine. We didn't know each other. All this is happening at the same time. So when 2020 happens, it ends, and the Lord told me at the end of 2020, He said, 2021. Let me back up a little bit. November 20th. Around that time, it was that month, November 2020. That's the time frame. Matter of fact, it's about the time when Mike Tyson was fighting Roy Jones. So that same month, the Lord had spoke to me, and I had came back from a funeral, and I was outside and watching my dad cut grass. It was in that moment the Lord spoke to me and said, "Hey, this is where you start the outreach, restart it," because I had started, but it was pandemic, so restart your outreach vision that I gave to you years ago. And this is an outreach ministry. We come together, we do different things. We're all from different ministries. No politics to make money. But anyway, so we were there really to minister in the hood to our brothers and sisters, and just to encourage them and to bring people to Christ. It was BTW came, was invited. We both had common friends, which is so crazy because we were in passing at least a year and a half
before that,
and still really not even meeting, you know, like
not personally meeting.
Yeah.
Like, I know who you are because
I didn't know who she was.
You work at the Croc, and I know that you do outreach. You know how you have an idea of key people. That is more so what it was like with Mike. I've been to a few night of worships at Croc Center, and I always saw him jumping in the corner and laying out at the altar in his full work suit when we would be there with the Modern Day Maccabees singing. And of course I would take notice of something like that. A guy worshiping God in that way was something that I always thought was just wonderful, powerful, because it takes a lot for a man to put aside pride and bow unto God publicly. And so I took notice, not in a way to where I said I wanted to date him, but more so as in, go ahead, man of God. So yeah. I took notice.
And if you ever been to her church, that's just how the culture is there. So this is not something that was planned. Matter of fact, in passing, I still, even when now keep in mind, that's a year and a half or so prior to us really officially meeting each other. I still didn't know who she was when she showed up in 2021, the summer of 2021, in June, at outside there in Huntersville in the Norfolk area. And we all ministered together. We were from different churches, different people. She was one of the visiting ministries that came there, which y'all know as BTW, so, or Built to Worship. So we were all just out there doing our thing, and we worked together the entire summer.
Yep.
No romance, no nothing. The entire summer. And then we did a fundraiser for, the organization, that we were all just volunteering to work together with. And BTW came to support it. It was like a breakfast we did at Sweet Jams Cafe in Norfolk. Y'all got to go to that spot, Church Street.
Yeah, let me tell you about how he was getting smart, though, while I'm trying to help him. So I realized that, I got some graphic design skills, and
facts.
We are doing these events. So a lot of my feedback came more from the marketing end inside the group, where all the ministries come together to assist push the vision forward for the community. So I said, I'm gonna make a flyer for, the breakfast event. Michael, he get to go on with his idea. Whether he got the flyer or not, people gonna know right now what he's doing. You need to get here. We need to get going. He's gonna inbox me saying, you see, I made the event page and there was no flyer needed, but I still got it done. And he probably don't even know he said that to me. So I said, I'm coming. I'm gonna make the flyer. But overall, I was already cracking up at the dynamics of him already pushing me along, and he don't even know me like that.
And here's the funny thing. What I did not know, what we did not know, is there were other people in the same group chat who were seeing everybody interact with each other, and then a few of them was like, oh, do Mike see that? No, he don't. Mike, I know Mike see that. Dang, he don't see it. So they just like, oh, we got to tell him. They was like, no. Let's just pray about it. Let's just pray. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on. Ain't nobody telling me nothing. We still ain't even thinking about that.
Trying to help the man.
Everybody just working together. We thinking about Jesus and ministry. So our mind wasn't even in that place, right?
And I like to be of help. Like, if you're really trying to push the kingdom forward, it's a wrap. Like, I'm really about pushing the kingdom forward. And for Mike being a guy that's out here, I kind of felt like, well, he's getting things going. He's pushing things forward. This is what we can contribute. We're going to contribute. everything that we can. I would tell the girls, hey, we're not going to just show up and dance. We need to find out how we can help. So if we need to package some things, if we need to pass out some food, we need to find out what we can do to assist. We brought speakers with us, not people who speak, but sound systems and whatever we can do. And I know that probably came off probably more forward to everyone else, but I really was just trying to help.
No, I mean, that's pretty much how I saw it. I was like, okay, they trying to help, you know. And all of this is going on. We're all working together the entire summer. Like this is June 21 all the way till like somewhere September. I don't know if y'all came to September one, but anyway, June to September, that's when we were doing all the summer outreaches that year. Mm-hmm. And we were all from different churches, Croc, Salvation Army, BTW, Walker Ministries, Breath of Fire International. I mean, just Living Faith, Mom and Dad, Pop, WEBB, all of them was there, like sisters, everybody. Like, so we all out there, and shout out to Georgia Emily, they was holding it down too. Mm-hmm. But everybody, if I miss you, look, I still got you. We ain't forgot. But anyway, so we all out there, Visions of MWHM, like we just all from different places for this common goal, reach people for Christ, build up the community, and the other organizations would come out there with us as well. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just us. It was like, anyway, while we out there. It was a lot of us. Yeah, it was a lot of us. So again, this is where it's like, there's no way I'm brilliant enough to come up with this whole thing. So we working together all summer long in the ministry and for free, y'all. We volunteering. It's hot. It's like,
it was hot.
It was supposed to be 80-some degrees and it was like 90-something.
Out in that heat.
I mean, you know, and we praying for people and feeding people and, you know, and meanwhile, I'm running around with my head cut off trying to do all these different things at the same time. Even though we had a team of people, it was still a lot of things we were all doing. So our interaction was very little. We really didn't have a lot of personal interaction outside of the group chats where we were, all the members of the team would talk together. So once that happened, and then one day it was just like, I looked at her after she came to, this is where she was BTW was about to come to the Croc. Let's go back to that day. Y'all, BTW, the day before they came to the Croc, they came to the breakfast, which was the fundraiser for Visions of MWHM, right? So we had it right there at Sweet Jones Cafe. I said, okay, wow, she brought a whole team. You know, but she did tell me that was like a day out for them. I was like, okay, cool, they support, I'm with that.
We made it a little fellowship event to help raise the money. I was trying to be strategic with ensuring that we used it as an opportunity to bring our funds together to support making sure we had food at the next events that we were going to be doing with Michael.
And whatever materials we need. Because we were feeding the homeless people too. So it wasn't just inner cities. We were doing like going to homeless shelters. We were doing like different things, you know, all in the same year.
Yeah.
So, plus supporting each other at each other's, you know, if we could, everybody in the team was starting to get to know each other, support each other at each other's events.
Yeah.
So, so that's what was happening. All of this is happening, and we didn't know that God was using that to bring one of his goals, besides people being saved and people being healed, was for us to meet officially and actually notice each other existed. Like I said, remember we were in passing, we worked together a whole summer, another one going down. My mind was still like Holy Ghost, Jesus, Jesus. And those of y'all who know me, like I could be, I would say super spiritual, but you know, I'm locked in, you know. So while all this is going on, and this is what got me thinking like something different. Like she made the flyer for when they were coming to the Croc, which was the very next, that event would happen the next day after we do the fundraiser. Well, along that same time frame, my pastors called me in the office and was like, hey, or my bosses rather was like, this is a nice flyer for the night of worship at the Croc. Who made this? I said, oh, I couldn't even remember your name. I was like, the BTW girl right there on the flyer, because she had made the flyer. Remember, that's what she do. marketing, making flyers, graphics, all kinds of different things, right? So she made a flyer, and it looked really professional. So they actually thought that our marketer at the crop made it, but really she didn't. Tyshawna had made the flyer. So deep down inside, I said, no, she made no flyer. I said the BTW girl made that. So I'm feeling some kind of way inside. I'm like, wait a minute. What in the world I'm upset for? What do I care who made the flyer? Like, that don't matter to me. Why am I feeling some kind of way? Something's a little going on here. I'm not sure. But anyway, so all of that happens. Then BTW shows up at the breakfast. And then the next day they were at the crop, which was previously scheduled probably like a month or two before. So they came to the crop the day after the breakfast, right? So they're at the crop. And then even at night, even my mom and dad, now y'all know mom and dad, they don't play. They ain't about no foolishness. And what Pop Webb said to the audience that night at the crop, he said, listen, y'all, they are ministering out of their heart. This is of God. It may not be the regular way of worship, something to that effect, but they minister and really worship, because that night BTW really did minister through dance. It wasn't about fitness and trying to put on a show. Like, it was really about worshiping God. So they ministered through the dance, through a little bit, some fitness too, but it was more so like really focused on giving testimonies of what God had done in their lives, right? So after that event was over, I said, wait a minute, mom and dad, they're not really into the whole dance thing. But for him to say that, man, and then I looked at her, but she didn't really know I was looking at her. At that point, I looked at her. This is like after this is over. This is like the end of October. So the summer is over. This is the end of October. I'm looking at her, I'm like, man, I need to go pray about this something. So, I said, what's going on with me?
It took him a while, y'all.
I'm tripping. Something. Hold on, let me go pray. I ain't feeling spiritual, something. Maybe I feel spiritual, but I don't know. I'm feeling some kind of way about it. Is this God? Is this me tripping? Because I ain't. So I'm like, God, you got to show me something. Something is different about this woman. So I felt like at that moment, God was removing the cover off my eyes to now look at her in a different way, besides a ministry partner or fellow minister. Like, I was like, oh, she is kind of pretty, Like, I started knowing all the other things through the natural that I won't really, like, trying to get into. Because I was so focused. I said, God, I ain't getting married 3, 4, 5 times. I'd have been divorced. And I had already made up my mind me and Jesus was going to roll.
And that's how I made up my mind. I was just like, it's all about me and Jesus. That's who I work for. That is who I'm married to. That is who I love. You can't tell me nothing about me and Jesus. And I did come to a place where I did start to pray about having a man of God in my life, because I was coming to the reality that it is good to have covering, and that I am a woman who is made to be a wife. And my ministry leaders would always tell me, my pastor would say, T, you are a powerful woman, so that means that you are gonna have a lot of power to truly help a man of God really push something great forward. And I conceived it. I conceived that. I began to pray. I did not know what that would look like or what the process would be like, but I did start to believe. And that's so important, because for a little while I kind of was like, I don't know, maybe, just even dealing with some of the emotions of things. And I realized, like, no, I'm going to believe that the man of God is going to show up, and that all of what's inside of me will help push something forward, and that I will have a family. So I began to believe, but I did not know that that what I was believing in was already right in front of me.
And me as well. Because I had told God prior to even meeting her, probably maybe within the 2 years, somewhere in the separation divorce process, I had already, when I realized that my marriage was not going to be salvaged, I had said it's going to be me and Jesus, and God took me on a journey. So this is something that I'm not going to preach, but I'm going to say this. Anybody who's single or legally divorced, same thing now because you're single again. Hopefully for biblical grounds, but that's a whole nother talk. If you're starting over again, number one thing I observed is I did not want to make the mistake that other people made, which was sleeping around with all different kinds of people and just trying to do all these crazy different things that people do when they go through divorces that are really not healthy, that are totally in disobedience to God. So I literally had to keep myself. There was even periods where I took myself off of social media. So if you were trying to text me during that period or trying to message me or hit me, that was probably the time I was like, look, I'm ghost, I'm out of here, I ain't talking to nobody. Like, because I just didn't want to be bothered during that period. I didn't want to fall into sexual sin. I was trying to keep my focus. So, and while putting God first, it was a struggle, but I made up in my mind I was going to do it. And the Lord then gave me the power. So making up your mind, you're going to follow God, Jesus regardless first. Number two, then God will give you the power because he gives us free will, gives us choice. So in that process, God began to work on me and heal my heart and work on me as an individual, as a Christian, as a man, to learn from the mistakes of my first marriage. I mean, I never cheated, never beat my ex, nothing like that. So no, that wasn't even the issue, but that's not the theme of this conversation. But the point was, I worked on myself internally, my character, my issues, my health, debt, all of those things, like paying stuff off. Like that's what I was doing, worshiping God. I was still serving at the Salvation Army at the time, where I work at the church community center called the Croc in Norfolk. So I was there, I was doing all these things. And during the pandemic, I'm ministering to people with a broken heart myself. So the Lord is healing me during this period. So when coming to the end of that, I said, God, when I'm ready, you send me the wife that you have for me, because I don't know how to pick them. I thought I was picking good before, and I obviously don't know how to pick them. So, and that's not a throwback on anybody. I just said, okay, listen, maybe what I thought was the right woman is just the right kind of woman was just maybe not the right fit for me. So I left it in the hands of God.
Yeah.
And when she came into my life, and then the Lord showed me she was suitable for me, or as the preacher say, or as the Bible say, the rib that was missing from me, like when God took the rib out of Adam and created Eve. Eve was suitable for Adam. And same thing here spiritually. When I met her and when I realized that she was suitable, and the reason I knew she was is because I did a lot of praying. She'll tell you I was slow in that process. I'm sure she probably knew after the first 1 or 2, 3 days. I was like Gideon in the Bible. I was like, God, you got to show me this thing X, Y, Z. Because if this is you, I need you to make the sink jump in the morning or something. I'm just playing.
He was trying to be so sure, and I was just like, are you interested? Because I ain't hear from you, and like, what is you trying to do? I need to know yay or nay, because I got moves to make. And I'm from Jersey, y'all, and so my communication can be very 2 different worlds. Forward, can be like, what we doing? Like, is this what we got going on? So I had to be very patient with Michael and trust God, and really begin to learn how he thinks. And once I began to understand how he thinks, it gave me more patience, because there was nothing like him taking the time to pray about things and to really be sure and not waste my time. And I really thought that was a great thing. And to see that that was the root of him really taking a moment to see before he got too connected, I thought that was actually really good. I'm like, so if you know it's time to pursue, man, what you doing? So I live a different life than what I used to. So this time when I was getting married, I was looking at things very differently. What I was looking for in a husband was literally totally different than what I was before me becoming a minister. And with Michael, I really, really, really liked his worship, his work for God, his focus on God, his dedication to God. And I know that that's my mindset. And I needed someone who gets it, who gets what it's like to truly live and want to give their heart, mind, and everything over to Christ and move the kingdom forward so people can be saved. And when we went out, he totally got it. He totally understood, and we connected so easily. And I immediately began to know, like, wow, like we cannot have this much in common.
Well, like I said before, I'm still a little bit taking my time throughout this process. So I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm asking God to show me, confirm. And one of the things he showed me was he brought back to my memory an image, a vision of something he showed me back in 2007 that I would be doing ministry with my wife. And a few years ago, before I came to the Croc, I was at the old building, the old Salvation Army. A friend of mine said to me, and he was saying to all of us that were there, he was like, pretty much whatever your goals are or dreams or things you're doing, just go ahead and do them, because the person you will meet them in the process of doing those things. And what I had done in my past was, instead of me just, without a lack of understanding and wisdom, to be like, let me just go ahead and do what God has already put in my heart to do. What I was doing was trying to come way over here where God really wanted me to operate over here. And by me moving over here, and in the past, obviously it didn't work, right? So, but when I met this woman, and that happened to me several times, by the way. I was only married once, but I did have women before that I thought was cool. But when I met this one, boy, when I met this one,
hype, y'all.
I said, God, I got to pray about this one. She is too good to be true. Like, I can't make this up. Either this is God or this is the biggest trick that I've ever seen. So I'm praying, I'm fasting, and God is confirming things to me through my fasting, through praying, and even through things that I didn't even expect God to even show me in ways that he did. He was doing it in private, because remember, when you ask God for something, the devil always throws counterfeits first.
He does.
There was even tests that was happening in the process of me meeting her. Mm-hmm. Now in the romantic stage, that I wasn't out there, like I said, I wasn't out there sleeping with nobody, but there were other people who were coming to my life, or females that were like, hey, how you doing? And in those moments, I remember the Lord saying, do not get with so-and-so, because I got something great for you. Mm-hmm. So when she came along, it was like, wow, the intensity of my tests, the intense, everything got kicked up like a couple notches. I said, this might be
was
God.
Like, no, we can't let them get
like,
together.
This woman might be the one because this is crazy. All the confirmations, not only in the Word, the Bible, or the Spirit, but things that I asked God for in private that I've forgotten I even prayed about. And God was faithful. He never forgot. He never forgot me. He loved me enough to be patient with me while I'm like, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief a little bit, because I've been hurt before. I ain't trying to do this 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
So, and God kept confirming it. So, and like I said, He was working on me. He was healing me. He was helping me with other things as a man, as an individual. So, when I met her, I was on that track. I was focused, So when I met her, it really paid off me having to work on the debt that I had before, the whatever character issues I had, things that I was not even aware of. God was having me work on those things right before she was coming into my life. So again, my singles brothers and sisters, even if it's something as simple as learning to clean your toilet, all of those things are going to be important when you get into marriage and having family. Your health, learning to love yourself the way God loves you. That was a big one for me. God had to teach me, and even now He's teaching me more about that. But before I met her, God had to teach me how to love myself, how to be mindful to take care of myself physically and mentally, spiritually, emotionally, relationally.
Yeah. I was in that same process. I was being poured into growing as a woman, professional. Teacher Mel had really took some time to really help me grow in ways that there was some damage that was there. I was in a place to where I would hide behind my gifts and my talents while not working on other areas of my life that needed attention, and it wouldn't be something that anyone would notice because my gifts would be so loud. And so just taking the time to really restructure my foundation in that time and get to know who I was as a woman, coming out of people pleasing, understanding what it is that needs to be done to truly prepare to be a wife, a mother, in the midst of being a professional, a business owner, a ministry director. There's a lot that has to happen as a foundation, and it really takes people who really care about you to be able to see you through and through, to kind of pull out the deepest things that your heart needs and get them ready. So when this time comes, like when it was time to meet Michael, I was in a place to where I wasn't as of an emotional woman as I was in my previous marriage. I wasn't easily moved and as sensitive. I would speak up a little bit more with clarity, but also be in a place and posture of prayer consistently. So my mindset was totally different this go around, but it was because of the preparation, and it was so good to have some tools in my pocket about relationships, what's required. We are coming into a covenant that is about Christ, and Christ is the groom and we the church. We're the bride. So it's really about the coming of the Lord and what that love looks like. And so to become that mystery right here on earth and produce a family that is prepared to really be the light of the world, it is an opportunity of eternity, and that's the way I see it. And it's an honor to be called to walk alongside you in this process as we go forth, and
to be with you too.
And keep us in prayer, because you know good and well when God is moving forward, that the enemy is trying to knock that thing over. So we are gonna stay prayed up. We're going to definitely continue to live a life that is full in His Spirit, and protect our minds and our hearts and things like that. And this process is one that we're going to allow God to guide us in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely.
You got anything else, Mitch?
I love God and I love you.